and welcome to Freshly Baked Nightmares. I'm one of your hosts, Cece.
And I'm MC, and we're here to retell nightmare stories of working with the public.
How's it going, MC? It's our first episode. Are you excited?
I am excited. I have been waiting for this moment for a while now.
Yes, I feel like we have a lot of listeners that have been waiting and preparing for this as much as we've been preparing for it. Well, I guess we should get started on what came to be. So me and MC actually work together.
Right.
And we've been in some situations that we kind of just came up with this
idea for telling the stories of, us dealing with horrible customers and how we handled it versus how we wish we could get away with handling it.
That too. And also just, I don't think customers really remember that we are just people.
Or, that we have thoughts and feelings and we could tend to hold a grudge and remember the bad customers.
Yeah. So we kind of came up with this idea after a couple months of me working at the same place as MC, and we were just like, man, we really need to talk about this. Other people need to understand what we're going through.
And hopefully with us talking about our stories and, people hearing how some customers behave, that they can remember, hey, not only do we work in customer service, but we're also customers, and pick up on the advice that we can give out on how to treat customer service workers.
I completely agree with that. Like we always say here at Freshly Baked Nightmares, everyone has had a bad cookie.
Or has smelled spoiled milk.
Yes. So you never forget that feeling, and you never forget that person. So we're going to get started on some of our stories. We just want to let you know at the beginning, my pronouns for CC are her, she. So that's why I'll be speaking in.
And my pronouns can be he, him, or she, her.
So if you just hear those interchangeably, don't be confused. Hopefully you can differentiate through our voices eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I think we sound pretty different, so I hope you understand who's who. Hope it doesn't make it too difficult. Well, let's get started. I have a story. I guess I'll start off today.
All right.
I think customers forget how short-handed we are.
Right. Some short-staffed, short-handed, and we're not like the only place that suffers from that.
No, and I know it's like everywhere. So, or at least at our store, we work in retail. We work at a fabric store. And for us, sometimes it's only like 3 people in the building.
3, and in worst case scenarios, we've been down to where it's just 2 people, the manager and 1 employee, and they're just bouncing back and forth from either station trying to get stuff done.
And it's crazy. And so I am actually the cashier, so I get the brunt of people after they've been shopping all over the store.
And I kind of am the jack of all trades there. I can do it all. I do registers, the cutting counter. I pretty much am seen by a lot of people, help a lot of people. And when I'm at cutting counter and I work with Cece and I know there's going to be a problematic customer her way, I will inform her in advance.
Yes, which I really appreciate. Working with coworkers that warn you over the headset of, hey, you're about to get a trouble person. But what really bugs me is going into my first story of being cashier, and we'll get a long line. Especially it'll start in the back, especially if
the amount of code reds we hear on a daily basis.
And so sometimes there's nothing I can do. I just have a long line, and I always tell like everyone that comes up, I'm so sorry for the long wait. Let's get here as quickly as possible.
I appreciate your patience.
Exactly. And I guess some people just don't understand that. Because on multiple occasions I've had where I'll have a long line and someone in the line will be like, excuse me, I think you need to call someone for help.
But they don't realize maybe we can't.
Exactly. And so I'll look at them and go, I've already called for help. I hope they come soon. But, just thank you for your patience. I'll get you as quickly as possible. And, I had this one woman who did it to me like 3 times.
Oh,
and
you gotta love those.
Oh, God. I had the longest line. The line was so long.
Was this the Black Friday line where people kept getting like 4 or 5?
It was like after Black Friday. and
Oh, that's
we
the
were still
worst.
had like our
Sales
our
going on?
sales going on, but we had like nobody in the store. There's like 3 of us, and the manager was already helping somebody at the cutting.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember
And
who was
cut
there.
counter person is busy either helping another customer look for something because they can't find it,
Yeah.
or is busy cleaning up the cut counter so we have room back there.
Yeah. So I am just at the front, and I have a good, like, not even joking, 25 to 30 people in line. And I'm just trying to scan and go, scan and go, scan
And we
go.
hear you calling code
And I'm
red
like,
over
"Help!"
the headset, and we're responding back with, "We will in a minute. We're
Please
busy
help."
back here."
And this one woman, she just went out, she's like 3 times. She goes, "Ma'am, you really should call someone." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I've already called. They are busy. You're just gonna have to wait." And she was just not having it. She just, but finally, like I remember we finally got a break, and the manager ran up and was able to help after like 20 minutes though. And the line just kept getting bigger.
Right?
I was like, "Oh, please."
Because the wave of people we cleared out started.
Yes, because it's always like that. I'll have nobody, and then you guys have this long line in the back, and I just know,
And we
I'm
just
about
pass
to
it
get
off to you.
Everybody come up front, and I don't know what to do. So yeah, I would just say, I would love to just been like, "Ma'am, I already did what I did." But I didn't. I kept my composure. But I think just customers, I really need you to remember, like, the world's kind of short right now, short staffed. We got a lot going on. I am doing my best. I promise there is no one in the back just hiding back there, not doing anything. There's no one on break.
Right.
We don't have a bunch of people in the back
And
just sitting around.
Just because it's not busy up around the register where customers can see doesn't mean the back half of the store that they can't see is not packed with people.
So just remember, we're trying.
Patience is a virtue.
We're
We'll get to
trying.
you as fast as we can.
Exactly. All right, MC, you got anything? How's it been going in your realm of things?
I mean, work has been work. It's been really working my patience.
Ooh, yes.
I remember back when I was in food service.
Ooh, that's rough.
I mean, retail in general is just a nightmare, but food service is a different level.
Yes.
And I used to have this practice with my old coworkers that I've brought over to this job where I nickname troublesome customers.
Oh.
I'll learn the names of my good, positive, regular customers who I know are going to be nice, but if you're going to be mean and be irregular, you are getting a nickname, and I will use that nickname to refer to you to warn everyone when you're around.
Oh, I love a good, like, bad customer nickname.
We had this one customer. She in general wasn't a bad person, but she would order the most complicated food order you could imagine.
Oh, no.
And we're like, okay, we quoted her time on how long it would take to make the order. She was polite about that.
Food has to cook.
Yeah.
You gotta let it cook.
She was very polite in the terms of everything, but her order was just a nightmare to make. So when she would leave, we would use the code phrase, "Oh, hello, dearie, it's Mrs. Doubtfire," because she looked and sounded just like Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire. So anytime we heard the "Oh, hello, dearie" leave somebody's mouth after she walked out the door, we knew it was the complicated order, and we would take all hands on deck to make it. And right now in my current job, I have some customers where I'm like, "Oh, hey, that one who likes to shoplift. Hey, French Poodle's in the store."
Oh, my goodness.
And everybody knows exactly who French Poodle is. And they always know to keep an eye out to see what she's stealing and or board swapping.
Yes.
Because she is good at doing both.
True. I agree with that. I know who Poodle is. I haven't seen her in a while.
She was just in the other day.
I wasn't working.
Yeah, she's showing up when you're not around anymore.
I'm so happy. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. No, speaking of, oh my gosh. So for our store, we have a friendly dog policy.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a lot of people that take advantage of that policy. And I remember this one woman, she came in and biggest fur coat I've ever seen. She looked like she just walked off of Beverly Hills.
Or she just skinned Cruella de Vil.
Something like that. But she looked like, her style was so interesting. That's what caught my eye. Her style was so like Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. Like, it was really warm outside, but she had
And
this
this
huge
fur
coat on. And it was like, why? And I'm a cold person. Like, I get cold.
And I run like a furnace. I see somebody in a t-shirt and I'm like, dude, isn't that too hot for you? Where's your tank
Yeah,
top?
but I'm just looking at her like, woman, like, do you know you're in the Midwest area? Like, spoiler alert. Like, come
Are
on.
you high in ice packs under there?
Like,
what's going
what was
on?
wrong? So anyway, so she's walking around the store, and I'm hearing this weird noise, like, coming every time from her direction. And this is like weird squeak. I didn't know what was going on, and I just kind of like looking over there. I thought something was wrong.
Maybe it was a shoe squeaking or something
like that. She had these really interesting heels on, so maybe it was that. She's walking, and then I see her, and she's pushing this buggy, but it's not like our buggy. It's like kind of like a baby buggy.
Oh, yeah, almost like a baby stroller buggy.
Yeah, and I thought she was holding a purse. Come to find out, her purse is a dog, and it's a real dog. Like, it's
Right.
not like obviously the dog is alive. I don't want to come out with like the purse was a dog.
It's not taxidermy dog in a purse. It's
was
a
a real
real
dog.
dog
It just-
in a purse.
How she was holding it looked like a purse, and I was just like, oh, okay, she has a dog, and it's just one.
Now,
of
was it a handbag purse or a clutch
no, she was holding the dog like it was
Right.
hers. And so I was like, oh, that's a cute little dog. It was like a Yorkie or I can't remember what it was. It was so cute though. And she's walking around, and she finally comes up to the cash register, and then I look in the basket she has. She has 2 more puppies in there of the same dog, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is interesting. And then she has this guy with her, and he comes, and he's holding a puppy. And I'm like, what is going
I mean,
on
we
right
are
now?
technically pet friendly, and we really can't say anything about
No.
it.
And it's like, and she just has like these puppies like kind of running around in the basket. She has like products in the basket, and they're running all over it, and then she's handing it to me, and it was so weird. But it was just so interesting. I was like, why do you have 4 puppies in this basket? And why are you shopping in the store with these 4 puppies? And it was the strange things you see.
I mean,
working in
with
retail.
us being pet friendly, you see all kinds of pets.
Yeah,
You weren't there the day we had somebody bring in a pet snake to find material for its cage.
Tell you gotta tell me the story now. I need to
So-
know the story.
This person brought in their albino boa constrictor.
Oh,
And they're like, we're trying to find a liner we can put under their cage because the heating element in the cage went out, so they needed to make it warm. And they were going to put fabric underneath the sand wood lining to kind of keep it warmer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what's the warmest material we have? I'm like, well, texture-wise, fleece would be the warmest and the softest for a snake. But if you're wanting to go not really in the terms of texture, but in the terms of just heat, our wool felt. Well, they ended up going with fleece that had bugs all over it.
Oh my god.
I'm like, that is just torture to your snake.
Oh, like a pattern of bugs on it.
Yeah, it had a pattern.
For a moment, I thought we had fabric with a bunch of bugs in it.
No, we have fleece that has prints of bugs and skeleton bugs on it.
Okay.
And they bought that to put in the bottom of their cage. So if the snake slithers through that stuff and sees the print of the bug sticking out, it's going to try to eat it.
Aww.
And I wanted to talk them out of it, but they were dead set on the fabric. And I was told if they really want it, don't talk them out of it.
Right.
Which I think is a bad policy if you know it's going to be harmful.
Oh, yeah, to the poor snake. But that's crazy. So they brought him in?
Yeah, because they needed, instead of measuring the cage, they brought the whole thing with them.
Oh, no. We're not measuring the snake. And then no.
No. They're like, we just need enough material to make this cage, you know.
And I'm not against snakes. I've held snakes. I like snakes. But no, you're not going to put the snake on the table for me to measure.
Oh, no, we didn't even measure the snake or the cage.
Oh, okay.
They're just like, okay, we didn't measure the actual cage, but we brought it with just so we could get a good estimate.
Yeah.
They bought a yard, which is a little more than what the cage called for, but they could layer it up, make it warmer.
Gotcha. Okay.
The minute I got done with them. It was time for me to clock out. So I went to the parking lot, and there in the parking lot, the guy has the snake wrapped around him. The girl has all the like lining material pulled out of the cage and in bags so they could put it back in after they put the fabric in it. And they're putting the fabric directly into the cage in the parking lot.
I would have been so glad to be going home too. I would have been like, this is it.
I was like, of all the things I've seen happen in this parking lot, this is not the strangest.
Oh, you're not wrong.
So, honestly, any stores that say we have a welcome pet policy, be prepared to see some pretty random, strange animals come into your line of work.
Yes. Yeah. I completely agree with that. Completely. Yeah, customers, just be mindful that other people in the store might not like your pet, even though we're a friendly policy, and be careful of maybe the pet you're bringing in.
Or be mindful that you make your pets go to the bathroom before you bring them into our store.
Yes, please.
We, not just us, but any store that's pet friendly would gladly appreciate it if your pet didn't have an accident in our stores around our products that we have to clean up.
I completely agree with that. Speaking of messes, not pet messes, obviously, just messes that customers make in the store. We have this one customer. I wouldn't say they're really a customer. We really have this kind of like homeless guy that comes in. Let's call him Homeless Ape.
I haven't had any encounters, thankfully.
Oh, I've had encounters.
Knocking on wood.
And he always brings a friend. I don't know how. He always has a friend with him. But the one time he had a friend, the friend had this huge comforter blanket. And they're coming in the store, and the guy is dragging the blanket behind him, right? And it's dragging on the floor.
Right.
So he's bringing all of this stuff from outside into our store. The only kind of good thing, I guess, is because we have a carpet at the very front of the store. So when he brings it, he just kind of makes a mess all over the carpet. And as a cashier, I have to vacuum that carpet. Right. And I was not excited. I was so kind of mad because I was like, this carpet was pretty clean before this happened. But they come in and they're walking around the store, and the creepiest thing about this is I never saw Blanket Guy leave. But he was no longer in the store, but I never saw him leave.
He might have left when you were busy at the register.
I didn't have that many customers that day, though, so I don't know how you wouldn't miss a big blanket. I'm facing the door. But I never saw this dude leave, but he left. It was so weird. I half creeped myself out, but it's fine.
I mean, no different than us getting the flashers.
No, we're not even going to go into that story today. But the Homeless Ape was walking around, and he talks to himself. I'm sure he has some type of mental issue. He's always pretty nice, though. But when he comes in the store, he always takes off the stuff off the shelf and starts opening things, and then like just leaves it.
I mean, kids do the same thing.
I know, and it's like
the amount of putty we keep finding that kids open and then it's glued to other stuff.
Yes, or people using the markers that we have, like the paint markers, and getting paint all over the floor.
Or taking our Sharpie markers and testing to see the color instead of using the pad we set out. They just write on our shelves.
Yes, or people like want to look at the beads or the sequins, and they pull it and they it gets all over the floor. And then it's just everywhere. And then nobody tells you. Nobody tells you that they just made a mess. They make a mess and go, oops, and then walk away.
Or I can't even tell you how many times at the cut counter, we'll be walking past aisles, putting away fabric, and we'll just see like an entire row of fabric just laying on the floor because somebody pulled it down looking for something.
And I just can't. I do not understand.
I get it. Our shelves may be packed, if you're in the section where we drape the fabric, trying to find the exact one you're looking for might be a little more difficult. Mm-hmm. But ask for assistance,
or just ask. As soon as something happens, tell
somebody.
It is not that hard. We're going to be more frustrated that no one said anything, rather than it just being a mess. I'm obviously I don't want to clean up a mess, but it's kind of my job.
Yeah,
but just tell us. So, customers, I need you to remember Just tell us.
somebody.
Tell somebody.
I mean, we get people coming up to the register or to the counter saying, hey, you need, supplies in the bathroom.
Yeah.
More often than we get people telling us, oh, hey, I spilled over glitter or I spilled over paint.
Yes.
Like, which one do you think we're going to be more mad about?
Yeah, because I know in our by the cashier, I saw the other day that there's some paint on the floor that's been dried up, and I was like,
are you talking about those gray splodges over by like the paper crafting and all that?
well, not even that, in our aisle.
Yeah, that's not paint.
What is it?
It's glue.
Oh, is it glue?
It's a glue.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, has been trying to clean that up bad.
Yeah.
That or we get like people will spill the paint
Mm.
and they won't even say anything and they'll spill it in like the most oddest of places and then you're like, what is this? Why is it paint?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I'd rather you tell me that than, hey, we're low on, soap in the bathroom, because
Sure.
one, I'm going to be more mad about because it's like, okay, you didn't say anything, now it's extra cleaning I have to do. And the other one's like, okay, that could wait a minute,
True. Yeah, so I'd rather be worried about glue than
Yeah, glue, paint, glitter versus toilet paper and hand soap.
yeah. But yeah. It's all those things that we've talked about today. It's crazy. But we here want to always end on a good note. There's always a good cookie in the horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so, MC, what's your good cookie story of the day?
Well, we do get, my good story is we do get a couple customers that will, tell us of incidents or offer, like, say they spill the paint or they drop a jar and it breaks. They're still willing to pay for it, and even if you tell them they don't have to, they still insist on being charged for it. It's rare and few and far between, but I have had those instances.
Yeah. No. We do have those good cookies that come in and they really try to help us out. They really try to make sure that we're taking care of, I guess.
Yeah, they remember that old policy, you break it, you buy it.
Yes.
Which is a policy that's been dissolved pretty much out of human existence. So when someone goes, oh, I broke this vase or I broke this jar, I want to pay for it. It's like,
yeah,
that practice still exists. I'm grateful that you're willing to be that nice.
True. Those customers always like make me smile in the sense of like, it's just so nice to actually have somebody that's just willing to
just go that little extra mile to make sure our day isn't unbearable.
Exactly. And that's what we really come from. Like, we don't mind, retail sometimes is a pain, but we don't mind it when we have those.
Yeah, when we have the nice customers that we're like, hey, I remember you did that. Oh, your coupon's not quite working? You were nice to us, we'll be nice to you kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we really look forward to. That's all we really want in life. Well, MC, I think that's been a pretty first episode of our podcast.
I think we did fairly well, and I can't wait to hear what our followers and fans are going to say.
I am pretty excited. I've heard through the
grapevine.
People are kind of excited about this.
All right. Well, that's the end of this baking session. Follow us on our Twitter page at FBN2022 and Instagram at FBNightmares2022 to participate in polls on what stories you want to hear next. And use our email, freshlybakednightmares@gmail.com, to send in your own stories. You might even be in our next episode.
Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And don't forget to bake up those likes, comments, and subscribe. And as always,
That's how the cookie crumbles.
And don't cry over spilt milk.
See you later, guys.
Bye!